everybody to GLOBEBUSTERs.
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
Welcome, everybody, to GLOBEBUSTERs. It is season number 9, episode number 16, I do believe. It is time for strong foundations, so we're going to talk a little bit about how if you have incorrect foundations or a faulty foundation, or you're building on something that just isn't true, you're going to have a hard time. You're going to have a mess in front of you. And I think some of us have kind of got there. And I want to kind of take a couple steps back and realize that maybe we are doing things for the wrong people, for the wrong reasons, and not actually being true to the reason that we're all here. So, welcome to the show. I'm Jeran, your host from Jeranism. And joining me first, we got Austin, but Austin is moving this weekend, so I believe he's off. So, have a fun moving day, Austin, and I'm glad you didn't ask me to help you. We've also got Zachary's a ball in the house. Zach, what's going on?
Hey, Jeran. Yeah, good week. Not too shabby. Had a fun show about Nikola Tesla on Thursday night.
Excellent.
Yeah, that guy was, I hate saying it because I know there are quite a few people out there that believe that Tesla didn't exist.
Yeah, no, I've heard that.
And I mean, I never met the guy. You don't hear a whole lot of audio of him speaking, and there's not a whole lot of pictures on him, but he was kind of a recluse. So
yeah, it's a weird one too, because they didn't teach us him at all in school, at least for me.
No, nothing at all. That's what we were talking about, how that's one of the reasons why I believe that he did exist.
Right.
Is because we weren't taught about him at all. And, he is attributed to doing all these things back in the day, even from, all the patents and all that kind of stuff throughout history, like the last 120 years, whatever. His name does show up when you go looking into patents and things like that. And yeah, but the things that man came up with made our lives so much easier today. I don't think he gets enough credit.
No, he's got to be the greatest inventor of all time.
Yeah, well, just the greatest invention.
Right.
Even, even if there may have been people who invented more things and this and that, whatever, just the electric motor itself.
Yeah, that alone.
It makes all of our lives tremendously so much easier. We would all be Amish if it wasn't for the electric motor.
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
I give him all the props in the world.
I mean, on top of that, he's got, the electric motor first and foremost, right? Radio, which I think a lot of people would grant him. Wireless communication, the electronic logic, takeoff and landing concept. They've got the discovery of X-rays, charged particle beams, the rotating magnetic field, fluorescent lighting. So he's got a lot of things under his belt.
I think it's over 100 in the United States he has patented and over 200 worldwide. Something like that. Maybe closer to 3. It's kind of disputed, but they say it's at least over 200 patents worldwide and over 100 here alone in the U.S. Yeah, just amazing.
And just reading here from a website, while relativity is entirely for the purpose of explaining electromagnetic phenomenon, Tesla, the wizard of electromagnetism, who produced so many working, useful concepts with his understanding, laughed at the ridiculous nature of relativity. Supposing that the bodies act upon the surrounding space, causing curving of the same, it appears to my simple mind that then the curved space must react on the bodies and produce the opposite effect, straightening out all curves. Since action and reaction are coexistent, it follows that the supposed curvature of space is entirely impossible. But even if it did exist, it would not explain the motions of bodies as observed. That's from a prepared statement, July 10th, 1937. Today's scientists have substituted mathematics for experiments. They wander off through equation after equation and eventually build a structure which has no relation to reality, which is what we've been screaming for 7 or 8 years when we tell you about, neutron stars, or what, why did I ask McToon, who weighed the neutron star? The answer is nobody, and nobody ever could, nobody ever would. It's a concept and it's math. It's what is needed for their sky religion to work. Is we got to put something up there that has an incredible. We'll use these neutron stars. We'll call them, because they actually say it's 77 trillion pounds for a teaspoon. I mean, that really should be the
of gas.
Yeah, it should be it should be like the whether you get into heaven or not should just simply be that question. Do you think that neutron stars weigh 77 trillion pounds for a teaspoon? You're like, yes, get to hell. You're going to hell. And
yeah, you're going back. You got to go again.
You got to go again. You're reincarnated until you figure out that people lie to you. And sometimes they're gigantic lies. We also got Ira Landucci with us. Ira, sorry we left you in the dark so long.
No, it's okay, man. I'm gonna be only for 10 minutes, and you delay me like
I'm
20
so sorry.
minutes.
I know.
So it's a
You're already gone. Really. You
negative account
that
of
was
time. So
yeah, negative time. I know you want to talk a little bit. We're going to get into talking about India. What did you think of their fantastic show of prowess, show of scientific skill?
well, it was amazing. First of all, I mean, one of the biggest and greatest CGI that the humanity has produced in the last 50 years.
Very impressive.
So
yes.
that's for
Now,
just
do
for
they
start.
have 1080 over in India? I mean, I could see them maybe trying to pull this off if everybody was watching like 360 or something like that. You know, if you were watching 1960s TV and they put that up there, it might look a lot more real than we see it in 1080p, you know, nice and crisp and clear and real defined.
It
So I was
looks
just
so-
No, of
wondering.
course, that for sure. But everybody understand, at least in my field, that is on purpose, that they trying to maintain some visual system. They cannot use super nice, like movie styles, because if not, it's gonna be indistinguishably of the supposedly reality. If you put there super graphics, people just are gonna, start going to say, well, if that is so real, how then I know that is not the same process,
Right.
where you show me supposedly on the moon. So they're trying to keep this Blair Witch concept, trying everything
Witch.
made in the low quality.
He's even got jokes
Not-
in English. That's crazy.
Yeah, and then when I start listen the press conference, the director of the mission starts saying, well, in fact, you can find it on YouTube as a secret India press conference, something like that, because he starts saying that I am not going to say all the secret behind this mission, but I want to say thank you for the big partners, because it's not only India that supposedly arrived to the moon, but also Israel. And in fact, the official logo, I don't know if you saw it, the official logo, it's India and the Israel star.
I did not notice that. So what is it? A joint mission? A space mission?
Okay, let me just make a very quick screen share.
You only have 4 minutes, so you got to make it quick.
Yeah, I know, but I'm gonna try to be quick as never before. And in fact, right now installing window, my window. So can you imagine? I restore Windows. That's
And
what
you're
I'm
going to
trying
share
to
your
say.
screen. You're on a call while you're restoring. I don't think that's possible.
Yes, I am doing all these
Wow.
things at the same time, and I have. I
think I
deleted.
just-
No.
I just see a black
Okay.
screen.
Yeah, I know. Now I know
Okay.
you are saying. Okay, so let me just. I'm gonna put this image just as a background, because you have the prime minister praying that please people believe this, because it's okay. This is official logo. This is the official logo of the mission.
Okay.
This is real. So the mission was in the friendship of Israel.
They're so friendly.
It's not just India, but the people just congratulate India and leave the poor Israel behind. Like okay, nobody cares about the Israel. Remember
Wow,
that.
I've looked into this a little bit. You know, I see all kinds of articles. I've never seen them say anything about Israel in any of
Oh,
them.
no, that is why you came to Globebuster to learn this kind of stuff.
That's right.
Yeah. Then the other things that at least for me cost me, there is a very symbolic things, because remember that supposedly a few days ago the Luna 25 crashed on the surface of the moon. Nobody see this. Nobody see not just 1 gram of dust flying away. I mean, it was just a title in the news article. Okay, Russia Moon 25, don't get it, and crash on the moon. The rest is just complete fiction. And I ask myself, how could you, in the past, in the 60s, take 24 missions super fine. You complete 24 missions, and the first one in the 21st century, you crash with our technology, supposedly, right? And then you have this, at least for me, these symbolic things like, I don't know if it's in somewhere of this video here, for example. If you make a quarantine, you reach the moon. And if you want to make fast, you crash. It's like in the desert, the 40 years that the people of Israel went to the desert. All these numbers for me are really, really special numbers that they use, in my opinion. Of course, you can say whatever you want, but 40 days from India, and they did it, and 5 days of Russia in the Luna 25, and they crash. And then if you go to on the official Twitter of the India ISRO, you can find a lot of, I think, because I just restore Windows, so maybe I don't have the Twitter. Is no more. Twitter is X, but I am not logging. But if you go, I don't know if it's allow me to go without register. Let me see. Can you? No, I need to log in, right? Without doubt, yeah. Okay, if you go to, I'm gonna stop sharing because I don't have that.
Oh, let me get over here. Okay.
Okay, but if you go to ISRO, which is the official website,
SRO, right?
you're gonna see like 20 seconds of the craft landing and open the gate and deploying the small robot, the rover, and making that stuff, which is completely insane. I mean, it is the same thing as China, and then
It looks so bad.
It looks so bad. It's completely out of reality, and there is not so much you can research about this, because it's just a rover that supposedly is going to make 500 meters around. That it's the whole capability of the rover is 500 meters.
That's it.
In the south pole of the moon. Nobody can see it. It's moving 1 centimeter per second. That is the speed, and done. That was the mission.
I wonder if, I guess it's not exactly the South Pole, but they show pictures of that rover coming out, and I've seen the shadows don't look at all like you would think something would at a pole. But I guess I don't really understand the North Pole and the South Pole of the moon anyway. And does the sun change from there? I don't know what they even believe. Who knows? I was just wondering if there's anything we can glean from that. But I know what you're saying. It's hard to say anything about it.
Let's congratulate Israel, man. Don't talk anymore about just India reaching the moon, okay?
How dare we?
Creatures. The dark.
Well, it's not just India that's reached the moon either. Other people have reached it. So they're the fourth country. But you know who got there also this week?
Who?
Let me bring it up. I have an image of it. This was live for everybody to see so that we could know. This was, I think, day before yesterday. Conspiracy Music Guru also landed on the moon. So let me show you here. In his very cool rocket ship. There you go. So it's not just India. I don't want to give everybody a hard time so they don't know that. Here you go. I'll show you this. So there he goes. He was there. No blast crater. It's all good.
A great man.
Yes, he's good.
I believe that.
I don't know about these clouds. I don't know where those are from. He might have brought them from Earth or something.
Well, did he land by India? Because they said that I heard Neil deGrasse Tyson talking this week that the reason they went to the south pole of the moon and not, someplace like where other craft have been where you could actually see tracks of something or something, No, they went there because down in those craters, because the sun never shines on them, there could be ice down there. So maybe Alex shot into a crater when he was landing and evaporated some of that ice.
Because he needed fuel to get back, and the only fuel there is ice. So then he separates the H and the H and the O, and then he flies back. So it's pretty cool. Pretty
amazing.
Very amazing, yes. So we're gonna talk. We don't need to talk much about India. I do want to ask a question of you guys, talking about strong foundations. something that I've just this week has been bothering me when we talk about the good old debate crew over there at FED. But my question is, in regards to this very narrow view or definition of science and very narrow view of experiment, I'm just remembering, and maybe you guys were around back then, but do you remember that there was a lot of people that were doing experiments, were doing tests, were doing things, and then all of a sudden there was this big push of you can't say you did an experiment anymore. You're not allowed to say you did an experiment. And I know that even I was like, what? Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that the experiment had to go by these certain rules. And so even I stopped saying the word experiment. I would always say observation, but like, why did we do that? Like, I guess what I don't get is that an experiment is simply a test. It's there. Nobody was saying I did a scientific experiment. People were just saying I went and did an experiment, or this is an experiment, or the Michelson-Morley experiment. And we were all shamed away from ever saying that, which to me is, I get why you might think like, oh, well, we were trying to shape everybody's, but like really look at the community now. And like, nobody's getting fooled by any science person saying they did some sort of scientific experiment, right? Like nobody's fooled by it anymore. So at this point, it doesn't matter anymore. You can, I feel like if you want to say experiment, say experiment. It's a test. If you want to say science, science simply means the gathering of knowledge. It doesn't mean, oh, it has to go through this and it has to be rigorous and it has to be exactly these steps. If you do that, you've really limited. I mean, imagine every bit of technology that we have and all these things that have come from the ideas of men who have basically used trial and error, which is kind of what the scientific method describes as kind of trial and error, which is, I'm going to try this. Oh, it doesn't work. Try this. It doesn't work. Try this. Oh, it did work. Okay, great. Now can we build off this? But I'm just wondering your thoughts on if we should stick to a really strict definition of science and experiment, or why we all fell for that trap.
Yeah, I don't think it's good when you're trying to figure something out, like you have a setup for how you want to do the test, in what order, and this and that. That's great. But to then claim that what you come out with at the end is the set all be all and there can be nothing else after that.
Right.
I mean, there's still variables out there that we probably still have no concept of.
Well, you mean
even today?
Right. Considering that science has always been wrong for as long as in history.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we keep learning more and we discover new things, new sensors that pick up new things, and we discover more about new fields and discover, hey, this field is actually really tightly knit into this other field that we had no idea before because we couldn't measure that correlation. But now we can. So science is always changing forever. As long as we keep learning new things, science is going to change. We could have a strong understanding of what we claim it to be right now, and this causes this and this and this and things like that. But to actually say that this is the end all be all, that there is no more, I mean, we'd stop advancing. There'd be no more. Most of the people that were shunned out of science for their new inventions and things like that were some of the greatest inventions. I mean, Tesla himself with the look what they've done to the ether and the things that he was trying to share with people. Why all this wireless stuff that he knew could happen because of this thing out there, this medium out there.
Right. And
there's still people denying it, even though we have all this wireless technology and all these things that happen at great distances, not just within this little, not like a TV remote control, but things are happening at tremendous distances. It's just, with saying that you know something for a fact and that's the end all be all, I think that's like the opposite of what science is.
Yeah, me too. And I don't mind if people use the word prove. I use prove a lot. I think people use it a lot. And I'll never even call somebody out on it. Why? Because I assume that they know that by prove, they don't mean like end all be all. It's just when you prove something, you can prove that this works better than that. Or you can prove that, cats eat food. Those things, fine, if you're not talking about proving that. But when you're talking about some sort of scientific test, which is meant to uncover hidden things, then the fact that it's hidden is kind of the point of doing science, is that you're trying to get the closest to the truth. If it was proof, then it's just like everything else, that humans eat and drink water, so humans have to sleep, those kind of things. I mean, are those proven? Yeah, they are. But it's just proven by experience, not by science or the scientific method, which is meant to show and uncover hidden things, at which point to claim that you have figured out the key to all, existence is just wrong. You just haven't. And it's fine if you say, well, I think, as far as it goes and it's been proven, then I think things are good. So I think that people got away from saying first the word experiment, and then people got away from doing experiments. And so that's where
I've noticed that too. There's not much testing going on anymore.
No, and it might be because when they did, they just were told it's not an experiment. You can't call it that. Well, yeah, you can. Look up the definition. Let's look up the definition of just experiment, and says if it see if it says you must go through the scientific method and these steps, or it's not called an experiment. Because I believe
natural laws are not scientific.
Correct. And people fail.
Are natural laws not real then? Can we not use natural laws? No, I'm going to keep using natural laws. They work every time, no matter where you are. Because I can't remove myself from nature to then test to see if it's actually, nature that's causing this effect. That's neither here nor there. I live in nature, always. I never am not in nature. So because natural laws are not scientific doesn't mean that natural laws don't hold true everywhere, always, all the time.
So here it's a experiment, a scientific procedure undertaken to make a discovery, test a hypothesis, or demonstrate a known fact. I have tested this by experiment is the sentence it gives. What is this one? Experimental, the same thing. Perform a scientific procedure, especially in a laboratory, to determine something, to try out new concepts or ways of doing things. Just trying to see if there's anything other. A test done in order to learn something or discover if something works or is true. So, that's a good definition right there, which is just a test in order to learn something or discover if something works or is true. And that's it. And so to then say that in order to do that, you must go through these particular methods is just not the case. Again, if you wanted to see which shoe fits better, this shoe or that shoe, and then you just did it, okay, then this shoe feels better. Great. So you did an experiment. You were able to test which one works better, which one is better, but you didn't have to go through this rigorous scientific method, or else it's not considered no. So I just think people should get back out there, do experiments, and then laugh in somebody's face when they say it's not an experiment. Say, is it a test for me to learn something? Then it is an experiment. I guess if you're going to say a scientific experiment, maybe that has to go through the scientific method. I'm not really sure. I think that science is great, and we can use it to get closer to the truth. And just if you get too rigorous, here's one thing that I saw this week. I don't know if people heard Austin on with Nathan Oakley, but Nathan Oakley actually asked him if Michelson Morley was the guy's name. So think about this. You've got somebody who's supposedly in charge of these debates. You've got somebody who's going to tell people what they can and can't talk about, what you can and can't discuss, calls Michelson Morley a parlor trick, and thinks that's his name, Michelson Morley. So clearly the guy has not done any research into it at all. So it's just it's an easy
There is
dismissal.
a band. Or you could say like Pink Floyd. Which one's Pink Floyd?
Right. Was that his last name, Floyd? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Isn't it?
it just shows cluelessness. It just shows a complete loss of knowledge about that subject. And so you would think if somebody's going around calling it a parlor trick, they've looked into it enough and they're like, oh, this is a parlor trick. Not just saying that just because they don't want to do any research, which is really ultimately, I think, what's going on here. Imagine how easy it would be for me to do no research at all if I just simply sat here every day and when anybody came saying anything, I just shot them down. Show me some scientific evidence. That's not scientific. That's not going through a scientific method. You're an idiot. You're a dumbo. And then you just kind of sit around. Let's go through the 5 things that we talk about every day. And you just don't have to do anything. You basically have set yourself up so every day you don't have to do anything. Anybody can't bring anything new. If they do, you just kind of shoo them away, say, nope, that's not science. So to me, I'm more interested in hearing things from everybody. I want to hear from Globe Believers. I want to hear their nonsense. I want to laugh at them if they have nonsensical things to say. I don't want to scare them away from my channel where they don't interact with me at all, because then really you're in an echo chamber with people patting you on the back with no opposition, and anybody should know that's a scary place to be. If you're ever in a place where everybody's just tapping you on the back, patting you on the good job, yeah, you're great, yeah, good job, and there's no opposition, you better check yourself and say, am I really providing something that is basically divine, or is something else going on? Like I've trapped myself in this little echo chamber where everybody loves me and tells me how great I am. I think it's more important to have some of these guys on and let them kind of expose themselves. I mean, what happened was, guys remember last week, we watched Craig say that east and west aren't circles, right? And then I said, well, we're going to make this video. I'm going to, send it to him and basically tell him, come watch GLOBEBUSTERS. We made fun of you. So I did that. And then, of course, he fires back and says, well, you guys are wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. East and west are circles. So then in having a conversation with him, I realized how off he was. Like, he didn't understand. He basically, I said, okay, let's put ourselves at 10 feet outside of the North Pole. So I said, so we're just 10 feet away from it. I said, if we walk 31.4 feet, we're going to come back to where we started. We walked in a circle. I said, so you're telling me that we walk straight because of the nature of a sphere is that it will bring you back to where you started. So I'm like, think about it here, Craig. How is the nature of a sphere in a 31-foot circle, which has no curvature by anybody's imagination? How would you come back to where you started because of the nature of a sphere? And so he kind of like said, I still think you're wrong. I think you don't understand. Let me go talk to a few people. And I kind of started to think there's just no way. I was even thinking, like, what is going to be his possible way to come up with something that he doesn't have to admit that he's wrong on this? And sure enough, he comes back and says, you know what? I'm going to ask my audience, and I'll actually show that real quick just because we talked about it last week. And he did a post on his, I typed in Craigslist on the search bar. Okay, it's not going there. We're going to YouTube.
I'm surprised he even made the video. That shocked me.
Did he make a video about it?
Admitted that he was wrong.
Did he do that? I haven't seen that. You've seen a video? I just saw him do it.
Or not a video, maybe made a post or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he did a post. Let me see if it's in the community posts here, I think. Where's community? Here. Okay, yeah. So we'll move this over here so people can see it. Oops. Didn't pin that. There we go. Make sure you can see it over here. Browser. Okay, so this is his channel here. And it started with this one 6 days ago. So this was the day after we had a GLOBEBUSTERS. Move this to my mouth a little better. So he just asked his audience, and I appreciate him asking without saying, Jeran says this, because if he would have done that, then the results would be skewed. So he just said, if you were to stand on a line of latitude other than the equator, face directly east, put away your compass, and just walk forward without ever adjusting left or right, would you, A, return to the starting point of the line of latitude, along the line of latitude, or B, diverge off of the line of latitude? So I was like, great, that's a fantastic question. How do you look at, you have to answer to get results. Okay. Wait, where is this? So the results came out 55-45 in favor of the correct answer. But you have these people come and start answering, and, a lot of these people got it. Following a line of latitude other than the equator requires turning. So what's funny is, and this is kind of the sad part about, sometimes I have to shake my head. Yesterday, I went into a Discord server. I don't remember the name of it, but in there was Bev. You know who Bev is?
Oh yeah, Bev, try thinking.
Yeah, okay. So I don't know if I've talked to that person much, but they wanted to argue with me about this point. It's like they said east and west are not circles, they're straight lines. I'm like, how do you believe that if you're on a flat earth? They're like, because it's reality, it's what we see around us. It's every north, south, east, west is perpendicular. And I said, yes, locally it is, but not on the stretch it out a little bit, and now all of a sudden you're gonna have a turn in the latitude line. He just didn't get it. Said I was wrong. I'm like, dude, go look. I said, do you think if I was wrong that Fight the Fat Shirt is going to admit that we were right? He wouldn't do that. He's not going to concede over something.
Is he a Pac-Man model person?
That's what I was even asking.
How would that work? And
I said, the map ends then? How does it come back on the other side? He didn't get it. They just wanted to argue with me and basically say that I don't. Every time I would try and bring it up how it works on the globe, they'd say, yeah, but we don't live on a globe. I say, I know that. Stop saying that. They'd be like, you have a globe on the screen right now. I'm like, yeah, I'm showing you on a globe how it works.
I mean, yeah, look at a dartboard. Yeah. Just follow the line on a dartboard. It goes in a circle.
Correct. And it's just so large. And then one guy wanted to argue with me about when I think I said 50 miles on that particular call. I said, in a 50-mile circle, we wouldn't notice you're turning. This guy got all pissed. What, you mean you'd go straight and turn? I'm like, yeah, over 50 miles? Yeah, it's impossible. It's mutually contradictory. I'm like, I'm just saying, if you were on a road with no background features and you were driving, you wouldn't notice you turn the wheel, but you would do a complete 360 in 50 miles. The guy wanted to argue with me. Like, I'm out of here. It's just, what's sad to me is like even flat earthers just want to argue. They don't, it's just like, okay, argue with me if you want. And at least provide me with
silly.
Something. It's silly. It is really silly. It's like, this is what we're going to argue about something that's so important to the flat earth. Like, how do you not believe that east and west are circles and still believe you live on a flat earth? That doesn't make any sense. So this guy
Well,
says,
they've gotten so used to speaking to people that do nothing but lie to them
That's
all
true.
the time.
That's true. But I'm not lying to him.
That's
I'm not
how
lying
they
to
see
people.
everybody now.
Yeah, and I'm trying to tell them, like, it's not me just because, and then people want to say, oh, he must be working as a shill, he's an agent. It's like, why? Because it's like, I told somebody that I was going to have Craig on a show, we're going to do a show together on Thursday, and they're like, why would you ever do that? I'm like, look, the guy conceded a point, let's see if I can get him to concede some more. Like, it's not a bad thing. He's not going to ever talk to me and convince flat earthers that the earth is round. Okay?
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
Stop
It's not gonna happen
worrying.
that
Stop
way.
being little crybabies. It's okay.
At the very worst, you just show how ignorant their claims and arguments are.
Right. And that's what I like to
To
do. I
new
like
people.
to get them to say things out loud because sometimes I think they come across as very intelligent. They think people think they're smart, but when you call them on some of these items, they just don't know. And so and then like with Craig, at least what I've noticed with Craig, when he doesn't know something, he'll just ramble through it. And it's like really funny, like you'll just like, oh, well, and then he'll like be looking it up on his computer at the same time. Well, oh yeah, I know about the Schumann resonance. Well, the Schumann resonance is actually, and then he'll just like read from the computer. It's just funny. And you can just tell. And I think it's hilarious. And I'm not worried about losing flat earthers. We have like a 99.8% retention rate. I'm not worried about that. But I think that the globe earthers they have a lot to worry about. If they're willing to talk to me and let me kind of explore some of these ideas and put out some flat earth information. I mean, even if it goes really bad, I guarantee you that there's a couple people on that side that start to come over, start to get off the fence or head over on the fence. So yeah, I mean, this guy telling us that we can test this for yourself with a globe and a strip of construction paper. Try to lay the strip of paper down flat over a line of latitude. You will find you won't be able to. But you'll see a lot of people did also, and I think this is huge because I can't see how, if I believed that east and west were straight lines, how I could believe in flat earth. Like, so the fact...
Exactly. That's the scary part.
Right. So the fact that there's so many people who don't know that tells me, oh, well, once they figure this out, because so many things come from that. The equinox, the fact that we're all looking in the same direction when we look, all these things start to unfold if you think that east-west are circles.
They couldn't just make up something that completely went totally against it. I mean, there are things that fit in the basket of this works on a globe and flat earth.
Right.
There are going to be those things. They couldn't have done it without those things. They had to reverse engineer this heliocentric model from the original model. So when they did that, they had to kind of set up, the old model in the way we look. Like longitude, latitude lines are imaginary. They're not real.
Right. And the proof of that is, east and west are different than north and south. I guarantee you, not one person is going to stand up and say, I was taught that in school, because we weren't. It was left out on purpose. They told you east and west and north and south are all the same. They're just four directions. But they're not. They're different. North and south are cardinal. And that makes sense on a flat earth. On a flat earth, you've got north in the center, south everywhere behind you, right? So no matter where you are looking north, south is behind you, which works the same way in reality. If I'm 180 degrees south of you, you are 360 degrees north of me. Period. End of story. Every time, there's no question. If somebody is south of you, you're north of them. East and west don't work that way. Just because somebody's 90 degrees west of you doesn't mean you're 270 east of them. So clearly that's proof right there. There's my word using proof, right? There's proof right there that east and west are different than north and south. Okay? They're different. And so people hear that, like yesterday in that server, man, people are just like, I don't agree with that. Like, what do you mean? They're different. I just explained to you. And then I brought up the globe and showed you. This person's north, this person's south. See how they're 180 and 360 everywhere? Okay, now go east and west. It's always different. So to me, it's like that is so telling, because why would they not tell us the difference? And the reason why is because it helps the globe understanding and kind of turns you away from flat earth if you think that all people on latitude lines are all looking in the same direction, which is off the ball to the east, when they're actually all looking in the same direction, but they're focusing on the equator, not just all off into the east. So anyway, there's just more people in here actually giving their comments. And so I guess, I don't know if it was somebody in here or somebody talking to him. Might have been MC Toon that talked to him. Wait, what's this person say? So I was convinced that the answer was A. You would still stay on the line of latitude and return to your starting point in the small circle, but I was wrong. I was incorrect. The answer is B. It's a hard thing to visualize, but the way that helped me, thanks Dave, is to think of orbits. They follow a great circle. To follow a small circle, they would have to turn. So I was wrong, and I have to make a concession to Jeranism and dearth. but that's okay. That's how you improve. You admit you were wrong and grow as a person. Can any point out a time other than my 2 streams the other week where a flat earther admitted that they were wrong? This means that Dearth only lied 74 times in 30 minutes, not 75, which isn't even true. I haven't even looked at one of the other supposed lies, and he actually gave Dearth, if you remember, 2 lies, one east and one west. Yeah, he said, oh, that's another lie. He said you can go west in a circle. So, Dearth is vindicated, and this is big because I think there is some people that feel like any flat earther can never get a point.
I admitted I was wrong. The videos should still be up. My Star Trail videos I was doing.
Oh, mine was, remember when I made that mistake of, I don't know if people remember, but I had a broken globe and didn't know it was broken. Like it shifted when I turned it. And I put a laser on it and was trying to get the laser to stay at the North Pole Star like I figured it would. And every time I would turn the globe, the laser would fall off the North Star. And I was like, oh, I got it. So I made a video like no star trails on flat Earth or something on globe Earth. And then like within a day, fucking Wolfie 6020 came back with a video saying, your globe is broken, Dumbo. And actually showed in the video where you could tell it was broken. It's like slipping down the little slot that goes through the center of it, the axis of the Earth. So anyway, then I had to make a retraction and say, okay, my bad, it does work. But
yeah, I caught mine. Nobody else did. I caught it. I was sitting there looking at the video, and I went back and looked at the pictures. I was like, wait, those lines aren't intersecting. Oh. Shit.
It happens.
Like,
hey,
yeah,
especially we should be okay with that. Like if we are going up against lies and kind of spitballing a lot, then we shouldn't be surprised if sometimes we make mistakes. But what I hate is gatekeeping. So when somebody tells you you can't call something an experiment, you can't talk about ether, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about Michelson Morley, it's a part, that is gatekeeping. That is the very definition of gatekeeping. Somebody is stopping you from going in a certain line of inquiry or belief or search or research. So to me, forget that stuff. I mean, you are free to research whatever you want. And like I said on my show this week, I never would shut down anybody from, like, if somebody is researching the Pac-Man map, good for them. If somebody is looking into the moon map being the Earth's map or whatever, more power to them. Because since I don't believe those things, since I don't think those things are worthy of research or looking into, then I'm glad that somebody else does and somebody else is. Because that's the only way, if that is true, the only way I'm ever going to find out. Which is them doing the research, uncovering something, making a video, and then me seeing it going, now I see that it is worth looking into. Now I see. So I would never shut down somebody else. Like if somebody else was researching ether and I thought it was bullshit, I'm not going to, who cares? That's their business. I'm not in charge of anybody. Whenever did Nathan Oakley think he was in charge of people? When did he start thinking, oh, I can tell Jeran what he has to say, he has to believe? That's the difference between him and I. I don't care what he says. You want to say science-proof things? Go right ahead. Who cares? I don't go after him for saying things, but he actually thinks he can dictate to me what I can and can't say or believe. Sorry, the reason we got in this and the reason I called it Strong Foundations is I hated the world of being told everything, my beliefs, what I could do, what I couldn't. When CVS took over Long's Drugs and I became a store manager with them, with Long's, I used to have all this lax, whatever I wanted to do, whoever I wanted to hire, whatever dollar amount I wanted to hire them for, whatever items I wanted to carry in the store, how I wanted to treat my employees, my customers, how I wanted to take care of issues, all was in the hands of the store manager. As soon as CVS took over, that's when I knew the corporate world was coming in because there was no more of that. And they made it quite simple that you'll do exactly as you're told or go somewhere else. So it's like, oh, by the way, you only can hire $8 an hour and you can only hire 24 hours a week for overnight. I'm like, what? Like, we're going to get robbed blind. Why would you do that? I'm like, no, I want people that are here every night since they work overnight. So I'm going to pay them so that they show up. I'm not going to give them $8 an hour. They'll just call in sick every day. Like, and they're just like, nope, that's the rules. That's what it goes. And they made me fire people that had been there too long and made $15 an hour because they didn't want to be a manager. Just ridiculous, over the top kind of nonsense. So I kind of learned real quick that the corporate world is much different. It's, you have to do everything by the book. And I hated it. It's almost like reminds me of this. You have to say this. You can't do experiments. You have to follow a scientific method. Oh, you went one step out of scientific. Oh, you said that wrong. Your semantics. It's like, oh boy, just get a life. Just get a life. We're just
the thing that gets me the most is when they don't do that. The first time he had Whitsitt on, he said that the ideal gas laws disprove the electrostatics affecting gases, right? Ideal gas laws. Now, those are 100% mathematics.
Right.
They're not even real. If you can go ask Google, are ideal gases real? They'll say no.
Right. It's like
No, it just
ideal
makes-
lenses and things like
no.
that.
Yeah.
It's ideas.
And part of the ideal gas law setup is to remove gravity from the equation to start. So just right away, you just hand wave dismiss any outside forces,
Right.
any external forces. So that doesn't mean that it then proves, electrostatics wrong because you remove them from the equation to start with. But that's deception to me.
Yeah.
And then finding out this, haven't heard him say ideal gases in a while.
No,
But
haven't
I don't
listened
know
in a
if
while
he
either.
has corrected himself and let the people know, because there's still people out there saying it.
No, he
And
doesn't.
hey,
He doesn't do that.
I was wrong when I told Witz that ideal gas laws disprove electrostatics affecting gravity or gases.
Yeah, they don't do that.
No, never.
No, and that's part of the problem is if, at least like Dave Weiss, even there's things that Dave used to say in his presentations that I disagreed with. So I went to Dave and said, hey, let's talk about these 3 points because I don't agree with what you're saying. And I want to make sure that you know why I don't agree. And we kind of come to, now I don't mind if he says it, don't care. But I'm saying like, for me, I wanted to kind of show him one of the things I think was like, he said before, there's no video of them building the space station. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that's kind of true, but here's some video that they claim is them building the space station. So it's like, you can keep saying that there's very little or something like that, but I mean, to say none is just a little bit of a stretch. And I don't think he says it much anymore. So again, and if he does, it's not like I'd be like, oh, you're saying something I told you not to. No, it's just, if somebody finds that video, Dave, just so you know, it's going to come up, right? I mean, that's basically the conversation. Whereas I don't want that to come up with me, so I don't say that particular fact, if you will, or note, because I have seen a video where they claim that's them building it. So it's just things like that where I think we can better arguments, but there's a way to go about it, right? There's a way to say to somebody on the side, or even if you have to do it in a video, just say like, hey, here's the reasons I think what you're saying is wrong. These are my reasons why I say the opposite, and you move on. And then you let the audience decide and not make it so like this is the way it has to be. Because basically that's what it comes down to. For me and Nathan to, I guess, go our separate ways, and for him to be happy, I need to actually change and say something different than I believe, which is insane. Think about that. That's what I need to do in order for you to be accepting of me. Sorry, I did that my whole life. My whole life was about, oh, this is what I'm told to believe. Okay, I'll believe it. Okay, this is what I'm told to say. Okay, I'll say it. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. The reason we got into conspiracies or flat earth, if you will, is because it was maybe for many of us at least, the first time in our lives we really got to open our mind. We really got to kind of let's shun everything that we were learned and taught, and let's see what we can build up based on the things that we can show today, and we can actually see with our real senses, our own minds, right? Because think about the things that we're told in this model, the heliocentric model, that people will go around, they'll yell at you about. That if you tell them the sun isn't 93 million miles, they'll yell at you. And who has a clue how far the sun is? So imagine there's people who are told things and then think because they're told things, they have a right to tell you you're stupid and yell at you because of things they've never showed to themselves. Nobody looks up in the sky and sees the sun and thinks, yep, 867,000 miles wide. In fact, everybody looks up at the sun and says, look at the little ass sun. Okay, nobody thinks, oh, that's almost 1,000,000 miles wide because that's 1,000,000 times stupid. Okay, so we can't even fathom things 1,000 miles wide. What is 1,000 miles wide? Maybe if you're flying from Hawaii back to California and you somehow saw the entire expanse of California, it'd be about 1,000 miles. But to think of 867,000 miles or 93 million miles away, or that we're flying at 1.2 million miles per hour, or that there's some great attractor that's a certain distance across, or that we just need to look through a little tube made by some great scientists to see back in time. We can see 25 trillion miles, which is an utter joke. I mean, so again, it's just all these things that we were told to believe, and we don't need to. We don't need to believe them. I don't need to believe them at all. And that's the problem with that is many people came to me saying science proved it. Science proved it. So right away I knew we have a problem. That problem is that all scientists are people. All people have biases. All people. So they almost told this story when we were kids, like, oh, but scientists are just perfect men, right? They have no bias. They've erased all that. They just go off the experiment, which is actually impossible if you think about it. Every single scientific test that's ever been done in the history of the world has been filtered through the mind of a human. Everyone. That's the only way you can get a result. Scientific tests don't just give you a result. They don't just show up and be like, here I am. Now everybody knows. God isn't the one coming down and saying, this is what it proved. No, it comes down to you. So, the other day when Nathan was talking to Austin, they got to a point where they started to agree that, well, yeah, it depends on the competency of the experimenter. So I was like, that's what I've been saying the whole time. What I've been saying the whole time is that is a subjective thing. If you're going to tell me something is proven is objective. But if you're going to tell me, oh, but it depends on the competency of the experimenter, that's subjective. Now what you're saying is then it's up to the person reviewing the information. Because get this, if it's a test that shows flat Earth or an experiment that proves somehow flat Earth, well, you can guarantee that the person who is a flat earther is going to look at that and say, I accept this evidence as proof. And the person who's a globe earther is going to say, I don't accept this evidence as proof. And then you're like, okay, well, why not? Well, I don't think that the experimenter is competent. I think he did it wrong. So this is the problem. You'll always run into that. You're never going to have something that everybody's just like, yes, absolutely, 100%. Everybody in the world believes the same thing. It's just not going to happen. So until that day does, it's easy for me to say, why would I ever say science proves things? What does it do for me? It doesn't do anything. I'll just say, no, I don't think so. Show me the experiment. Show me the evidence. Show me the test procedures. Okay, yeah, you showed it to be true. Pretty good. Pretty nice job. But to say, like, you proved it, and now we can close the book, well, that's the problem I have.
You know what's amazing is with all this money and time and effort they've put into creating this model, this heliocentric model, I don't believe there's ever been a time here on Earth that everyone has believed in this lie. I believe that there have been flat earthers on Earth in like first world countries, not just some tribe out in the jungle that, says the Earth is flat. Not them, okay? But, first world country, educated in school and stuff like that. But I believe that there's always been flat earthers alive.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, for sure. And I don't know how long it goes back. Of course, our history is a joke. Anyway, let's just keep going here. Just a couple more comments about that. But what has melted my brain is facing east directly and walking straight ahead. You are no longer facing directly east. That's exactly correct. So see how these guys are just coming to some of the realizations that we did 7 years ago? Why? Because we had an interaction with me and this guy fight the fat shirt, which wouldn't happen in the other camp because they don't have conversations with people outside of their bubble. And it's gatekeeping, and it's holding people back. And it's just it's a bad look. It's a bad look for everybody involved. And then what you've got is this group of people that have become so believing in their own shit, they don't think their shit smells anymore, that they'll just go around screaming and yelling at people and acting like they're the only know-it-alls. And I think Nathan said at some point in his show, he's like, oh, GLOBEBUSTERS and Jeran have had enough time at the top. It's time for somebody else to take over.
Yeah, I heard that.
Like, what the hell are you talking about? I've never even looked at myself that way. Like, the fact that you put me there is your fault. I just have a channel and I do a GLOBEBUSTERS show. That's it. So wherever you're getting the rest of it, I don't know where you're getting it from. Anyway, so one of the things I wanted to point out is this is important about censorship. Okay, so we need to call this out, and I don't know how yet. I guess we could either do it by having people all email YouTube, or we could do something. Let me show you what happens. Okay, so we're on Bob's channel. So let me go with, how am I going to do this? So I'm going to go home here. I'm going to look up, just so we can do, I'm going to go to Dearth. Where are we here? Okay, so I'm going to put in DITRH here, and I'll show you why I'm doing this in a second. This is ridiculous that this is true. So Dearth's channel here, I'm going to go through and I'm going to find videos that say flat Earth, okay? Just to add to our watch list. So Cartoon on the Moon, nothing really. It does have hashtag flat Earth. We'll go ahead and watch that one. I just want it to get into the watch queue. There we go. Or history queue. So let's see what else we got. So how far do we see the sun on flat Earth? We'll watch this one for a little bit. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Back. And watch that. Okay, go back. So you'll just see in a second, we've got where is your model, flat Earth versus globe Earth. Watch back. Oh, that's what the eclipse is from. Oh, sorry. We've got space is made in a Hollywood basement. Okay. So what I've just done there is added some videos to my watch list. Let me see if we got this here. Where do you go? Under your channel and then history. Oops. Sorry, I didn't mean to move that. Your channel. I always lose where that's at. History. Okay, there. All right. So now I'm looking at, move this back. History. There we go. So now we're looking at the watch history for GLOBEBUSTERS, okay? So now watch when I type in search watch history and I type in flat Earth. Now you'd think all the videos we just put in there would definitely be in there because they all have flat Earth in the title. But instead, when you do that, you get nothing but the debunking videos. In your own history. Look it's all videos that are debunks.
Wow.
I mean, that is insane. So how do we get this out to people? I don't think it's as simple as me just making a video. I thought about doing that last night, and I could still make one, just showing people this. But I think, why wouldn't this be a complaint to YouTube? Why wouldn't you, as a flat earther, say, hey, I've got videos that are about flat Earth that I put in my watch history. They're part of my history. Who gives you permission to take things out of my watch history? And they didn't take them out. They're still there. I mean, get rid of this, and they're still there. Watch. It's not like they got rid of them. They're going to be here. And if you actually went and searched,
wow.
Look at all these videos. All these videos about flat Earth that GLOBEBUSTERS has in their watch history. But if I type in flat Earth, watch how it reduces it to just the videos that are debunks, and it's not even going to go very far. Look at debunk, 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 debunk. It's all the ones that we see when we look at. That's it, and it ends. That's it. So all those videos before that were there that all are flat Earth are gone. And so to me, I don't know how we get that talked about, or because I'm wondering if there's any other subject like that. Like, let's try, like, I don't know what else. What else could possibly do that? Like 9/11? I don't know. Let me look up. So if we go to
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Let me go to another video. That's just search.
Crazy.
Let's search 9/11 and see if we can put some in.
I could understand if you were just searching, whatever, but searching your watch history and it's showing you only the troll videos that you've watched.
Right. What does it even mean? I
mean, there were hundreds of flat Earth videos between every one of those videos. Guarantee you. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. We could just go through and see that. Trying to find some, here's some 9/11 stuff, but more mainstream. I'm trying to see if there's a video that we can look at that basically is this one here. No, that's probably not. You know what I'm saying? I want to find one that would be not YouTube friendly. But I don't know if they'll even be here because most of these are all going to be mainstream stuff. 50 views of the like that's mainstream. They want you to see that. 102 minutes of change. Don't they have anybody that now? I mean, so it's just no such thing as videos that talk about these things anymore. Heartbreaking last words, last phone call. Wait. Trade center bombing. What if we put in Silverstein, maybe 9/11 Silverstein? Maybe somebody did a video about him getting his double dose of insurance money. Meet Larry Silverstein, developer, why he needed to rebuild. So, man, they've gotten rid of everything. See how they can just change history now? I mean, in like 5 years, Building 7 won't even be a thing. Just be gone. And this was like the biggest talked about, even back in like 2007, 2008, there were still people covering this like nonstop. Yeah, and I had videos. I mean, oh, wait. Okay, here we go. That's Ventura's take on 9/11. He wanted it to happen. I'm trying to think of some of the guys that would have, like Richard. What's the guy's name that is the head of engineers and architects? Richard. Oh, come on. Richard Grove? I can't remember his name. Richard Grove. Try Building 7.
Yeah, that's good. We'll look at that. Richard Grove, Selected Productions. Wait, was this him? Or am I thinking of somebody else? Wait, what? Videos. I think he's the one that did 9/11 stuff, right? Yeah, it looks like he does conspiracy stuff. I can't remember though. Is he not the one from? Who am I thinking of? It's architects, and what? Engineers for 9/11. Who's like the head of that?
Yeah, they had a bunch of signatures.
It's an American nonprofit organization. The conspiracy theory. Blah blah blah. Who's the head of it? Richard what? Control F. R-I-C.
Richard Gage.
Gage, thank you.
Yeah.
That's correct. Okay. See if he has any interviews of him because they probably don't want that out there. See, Richard Gage. Okay, we'll go with this one. I just want to get a couple of these to see if they even. I guarantee they don't. I would guess they don't. Architects.
And these are all. Look at none of these are like Joe Schmo's.
No,
channels
these are all
either.
like they're definitely fixing the books. I mean, it's sad, but that's why I tell people. By the way, I mean I know this is the wrong place to advocate for this. It's better on more open places. But please provide the app, Dave Weiss's app, because really it's the best way around the censorship. If you give the app to somebody and you tell them, hey, for 3 weeks, watch this featured video every day. And if you're bored, you can click archive and you can go watch another featured video from throughout the past. And then tell them at the end of 3 weeks, now go and search YouTube for those same videos. And they're going to find out that they're all hidden. And they'll be like, wait, didn't I watch them on YouTube? Yeah, those links were to YouTube, but they've hidden them in the search. And I think that would be one of the biggest catalysts for somebody to say, I am a flat earther now.
Yeah. Like, why would they do that?
Why would they do that? Right. Why Building 7 fell. Oh, I would love to hear that video. I'm sure those are some true tellers. All right, so let's just leave it there. Oh, I've heard this lady talk about the Iraq story. I'll put that one on there. All right, so let's go see what happens now if we go back to history, which is here. And we're going to go with searching 9/11. And let's see if it takes them all out. Nothing. So you see they're all there. It didn't eliminate one video. So this is exactly, let's see. Let's get rid of this and see if it's the same order here with these 4. Oops. I'll get rid of that, hit enter, and we'll see if it's those 4. Yep. From here, this one. So it's these 4 here. So again, I mean, maybe, what, Bigfoot? I'm trying to think of anything. A stolen election. I mean, is it really just flat Earth that YouTube is worried about? Because that tells you so much. The fact that they have to hide it should tell you everything. I mean, it's so,
I wonder what's going on with, try Hunter Biden's laptop.
Okay, let's try that.
See what pops up. If it's all just news channels.
Yeah,
or
you
if
think
they,
somebody would be covering it. Let's see here.
Oh, yeah, there's been so many people that have covered it that are just, you know, Joe Schmo channel, not ABC News 7.
But that's why, I mean, I know that Rockfin isn't perfect yet, but this is why we have to support people that are over there, because it's the only place that we can actually keep our videos up. They've never taken one of my videos down. I can't say the same thing for YouTube. Go here. And the way they handle copyright stuff is just a joke. I mean, just somebody needs to just claim it and they take your video down. So this is all
Sky News, Forbes, CBS.
Mainstream. All mainstream stuff. Justin Biden cracks a joke about.
And I guarantee there's so many people that have had way more views.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like who would,
most of these mainstream things.
Yeah, would we find somebody's channel? What's it? Simon Cowell, new face, plastic. What? I hate when it does that. It's like, you'll also like these. Like, no, I want what I search for. Thanks. What's the story? Let's see. We'll put this one in there. And we'll just search laptop after. FBI verified Hunter Biden's laptop 1 year before. Okay, that's kind of. Sky News kind of goes out and says some stuff that most people don't get away with. Hunter Biden's laptop fingers the conspiracy. Okay.
Yeah, that Rita lady, she cracks me up.
Yeah, she's funny.
Her one thing, her segment, Lefties Losing It.
Yeah, she always talks to.
I enjoy that one.
She always talks to Stein. It's pretty funny. I saw Stein yesterday sent me a video of him kissing all over Roseanne Barr. I was like, dude, don't send me that. He's like kissing her on the neck and cheek and head. I'm like, dude, don't send me that ever again. Hunter Biden is a degenerate and a drug user. All right, let's try to see if that one's going to go there. Biden laughs off fall at Air Force. Oh, that's when he fell over the sandbag. I can't believe there's no other. They don't even put any more us in the search results, it seems. But yeah, no. All you got to do is be Simon Dan or be one of these mainstream ass lickers. You'll definitely get on there. I wonder, people will get so mad at me, but I really think just for fun, I should make a new channel. It should be called Space is Great and I Am Gay. And just watch it take off. Just watch it take off. It will. I'll probably have 1 million subs tomorrow.
Subs in a month.
That's all you need. You'd be set. Just show stars and just be like, oh my God, so pretty. And then watch them take off. But again, people would get mad and say, that's the real him. And he's been hiding it forever. And, you know, losers.
The real him.
Yeah. He's finally explained. Of course, it's a revelation of the method. And, you know, boy. By the way, one thing I want people to stop saying, because I heard it from the conspiracy group this forever. Stop saying that they don't kill people, please. Look what happened in Maui. Look what happened at 9/11. Look at other places, and don't tell me they don't kill people. They don't care about you. Look at the vaccine. Oh, sorry. My goodness.
You could type in
the vaccine is so healthy. So that's the way you stay away from. I forgot we're on YouTube. You want to stay away from getting sick or transmitting it. You want to get the vaccines healthy, safe, and effective.
I mean, there's jokes that people are telling, even mainstream comedians, about certain lists
Right.
that are out there.
Yes.
So no, these people are not above killing people.
I believe that you're talking about the list of Hillary, the tropical storm that came up the west coast.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
She had a kill list pretty long. It's like over 100 now. So, yeah, I don't see. I mean, there's just nobody. Like, where's like Dabu 7 and where's like these people? Like, remember the old days of YouTube? Man, it was awesome.
Oh man, it was awesome.
It was so
I never
awesome.
saw CNN or any of this stuff.
because they knew you didn't want to watch that.
Never.
They knew you didn't want to
No,
watch
because
it.
I only had to hit it one time. I guarantee Bob has hit don't recommend channel to
Right.
like probably 90% of these channels right here.
I'm trying to think of somebody that would, who's somebody who would have talked about that. The thing is, like, those are the videos that don't stay up. So, like, who's the top conspiracy theorist on YouTube? Who would you say? Who would you answer that if I told you who's the number one conspiracy theorist on YouTube? I mean, I just not even a person anymore.
Yeah, I don't even know. Alex Jones isn't on YouTube anymore.
It's me. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know.
Let me see. Does Dabu 7 have? Is he still on YouTube? I think he is. Yeah. Let me see if he's got anything on Biden's laptop or anything that we can see here. So, pair of generators, heads up. Oh wait, somebody told me that not everybody has this search button. Do you know if that's true? I don't know. I was like, wait, I didn't think
Really?
Well, I didn't think YouTube
I don't
had
think
search
it's
anymore.
there in the mobile app, but I thought everybody had it on the.
Oh, maybe you're right. It's definitely not there in mobile. Seeing if there's anything about the laptop here. Printable solar panels. I was targeted. Heads up. Nothing about a laptop. Fiber cut.
I haven't watched Dabu in years.
No, yeah, me neither. But I just have seen them, and I thought that we would. I'm trying to see. Do you see any of these that we could put in the search that maybe they would not show us? Future Navy Humber, Japan, Hacker Steel. I don't see anything. I typed in laptop up here too. Let me type in Hunter. Hunter. Whoops. Sorry. Hunter. Let's see here. Hunter's Harvest. CDC sends warning of hunters. Guess he's smart enough to know what you can and can't talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been at it forever.
How about election? Because, I mean, I know that that was a big one with YouTube, if you even mentioned the election being a fraud. Massive dueling rallies. Trump suggests delaying 2000 headed. George Soros warns Trump of potential economic doom before election. I don't know. All right. Trump wins electoral college under. So I don't really see anything here, but let's go try and just do what we did with. Wait, what did we check last?
The
laptop. Laptop.
Yeah, the laptop.
Let's go here. Go to history again. But I mean, I think those are all going to be there. So it looks like these should be the first 5. Let's look at this one. Should all be. Let's type in laptop. Wait, did they all say laptop? Yeah, I think so. See what happens. And oops, bad. Yeah, so it doesn't change at all. So, literally, unless somebody does further research on it, it looks like. Oh, and somebody did inform me, just so people know, because this is not. I mean, I guess I made a mistake on it, but I said that as far as we knew, SpaceX was the only one to ever be able to change their live stream. Somebody sent me a video of a guy complaining about this other big name YouTuber who has like over 1.5 million subs. He does like tech reviews, and he was complaining that he said, why does he get to change his live stream? So they sent me a video of this guy complaining, and he was showing that this other guy somehow changed his live stream. So he's like, he started thinking, oh, so people with over 1 million subs or something must have permissions that we don't. So I've never seen that. I thought SpaceX was literally the only one I'd ever seen change their live stream. But if you believe what this guy was showing, there's also some tech review guy who got a bunch of things wrong in a video. He did a live stream. It had like a bunch of views. And then it was pointed out that he did it wrong, that he was wrong about some items. So rather than change the live stream or re-upload it like everybody else would have to do, he went in and was able to change parts that he said. And the guy was like, look, how can you do that? Because people who have watched your review now believe it. And if you uploaded something new, they'd go, oh, I have to go, oh, there was something wrong in there. But he's like, now you've just changed it. But everybody who watched it is going to believe what you said. They don't even have a reason to watch it again. It's the same video. But they wouldn't know that if they watched it, there's actually things been taken out. So I don't know if that's something anybody else has ever seen, but please let me know. I'd be interested, because I went back and forth with Google for like a month. And eventually they just stopped responding because they literally were telling me, no, what you're saying is impossible. So I understand that, but I'm telling you, they changed our live stream. Here's what they did. Here's the parts of the video. And it would go to one person and another, and they would always come back and be like, wait, what are you saying that they did? That you can't change a live stream, sir. Like, listen to me.
Yes, you've told me this.
Read the email chain. Go back and read.
I just gave you proof.
Yeah, they don't care. They just were like, and then eventually they're just like, yeah, I don't know, it's not allowed. I'm like, yeah, I know. That's why I'm asking you guys. This is the whole point of the conversation. So anyway, they didn't get rid of any of this, but yeah, flat Earth is that's insane. That if you search flat Earth, that's all you get. I mean, what if that was what you wanted to search to find a video that you used to watch, and now you can't? It's gone. So who knows if they do it? I mean, what if you search Jeranism? Is that all gone? I don't even know. Who knows how far that goes? So I want to see, and how would we know if there's other videos that would be in here? You'd have to go in order of, what it shows. So what are like these dates on here? May 2nd, April 2nd. So let's go to, that'll help us. So May 2nd, April 2nd. Now we're going to take this off and we're going to go between May 2nd, April 2nd and see if we can see anything. You see, I'd have to scroll too far. Never mind. I'll have to come back and think about, I don't know how to best, you have any ideas? How do I get this out further? Because really YouTube should be kind of shamed for it. I mean,
well, yeah, for sure.
It just doesn't make sense
ridiculous
that you would do that. I mean, and think of how big Flat Earth has got, and we've done it all without the help of the #1 website helping us. And that, in fact, they hinder it, because if somebody hears about it and they go look, again, just go to your main search.
Yeah, Professor Dave, Simon Dan.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I mean, there's no other video. Let's just go type in Flat Earth, and you're going to get, or Flat Earth Sunset. You want to learn about the sunset, you don't know how it works, and then you're just going to get debunking Flat Earth. And look at how this video has nothing to do. It doesn't even say anywhere. It's not even in the title. I typed in Flat Earth Sunset. Debunking Flat Earth in 45 seconds. What? Flat Earth Sunsets. Debunk the funk. Another debunk. Debunk. A Flat Earther explains time zones. Is Earth flat? Graham Hancock debunks Flat Earth. Oh, yeah. Man out to prove dies. So if somebody what does Flat Earth hate this photo?
I love that. Graham Hancock debunks Flat Earth by saying the Egyptians didn't believe the Earth was flat.
Even though they did.
Yeah. And then he's supposed to be an Egyptologist, right? He's supposed to study the ancient Egyptian culture. And he thinks that they believed in a globe. That's sad.
It is sad. This is the first photo ever taken in space. What?
Space. Back in October of 1946, a bunch of American soldiers and scientists all got together.
Oh, I love how these guys tell stories. The soldiers and scientists and good quality men. They went out and they proved some things.
Missile range, and essentially attached a 35mm motion picture camera to a V-2 rocket.
Sure they did.
Then they launched that rocket up as high as it could possibly go, and it actually hit the beginning edge of outer space. And that's why this is the first photo ever taken in space. Back in October of 1946, a bunch of American soldiers and scientists all got together at
So again, it's all, what does that have to do with sunset, Flat Earth Sunset?
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. So, again, they've just completely destroyed the search. So we need something like Dave Weiss's app that if people want to search, they can go through the archives. They can, Dave, if you're out there, I don't know if you're watching, but I was just thinking about the playlists. Is there any way to search playlists? Like search in playlists? I wonder if they do the same thing if we're searching in one of your playlists. Something to look at.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't really use playlists much.
Because, all my liked videos, could I go through there and find, let me see what my liked videos look like, because
I don't know if there's a search for that, though. I guess that's what I mean. There might be. I don't know if
I think there's a playlist itself for just liked videos.
Right, but is there any search function in it?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'll check.
Yeah. So anyway, all these are just debunked videos. And no matter what you change this to, so now if we go Flat Earth evidence, and then you're just going to get the same debunking videos. ISS undebunkable. Farewell, Flat Earth. Ultimate photographic proof. All right. Ultimate photographic proof. It's like, it's a photograph? Okay, yeah, that's ultimate proof, all right. Nobody can fake that. I've never seen a photo faked ever before. All debunked. So when you discover the Earth is flat, even things like this, must be, how do they know, how do they let this through? It must be a joke.
Hello, I am a facts researcher. My journey of involvement began when I accidentally dropped a ruler onto the ground. I was woke. Ever since then, I've upgraded my testing for better accuracy and reliability. Yep, that is my ex. And put hundreds of hours into the most professional research. You can't trust the media anymore, so I go where the information is undeniably fact. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a dead bird on the ground?
So, I mean, I just saw this has 3 million views. This is the world we live in. That guy making an asinine video that nobody believes what he's saying. He's completely lying to you. He's completely being a fraudster, or it's just comedy. Either way, how does that have 3 million views? Do you realize that there will never be a video that myself or Austin or anybody who's a flat earther will ever have 3 million views? It's impossible. Now, you might think, oh, that's because the content isn't good. But no, it's because we're completely shadow banned. So you can't share.
And if we did get 3 million views, say there is a video that just blew up and exploded, it still wouldn't say 3 million views.
No.
When Dave released my one of my videos on his app, it showed 2,000 views after 24 hours on YouTube. He said that the button, because he has all those analytics, that it was clicked over 50,000 times on the app that day.
And it shows way less of a view?
Yeah.
Views?
So, and when you click the button, it would take you right into the video. The video should start playing. It should count as a view. And he said 50,000 people clicked that button, and YouTube said 2,000 people watched the video.
That I don't doubt. That is probably the truth. Although I want to believe that, because I want to believe that my numbers aren't what they are. But
there's no way your numbers are what they are, Jeran.
I
no
wouldn't
way.
think so, but who knows?
I mean, you were at 150K like in 2016, 17?
Yeah, I think it's been 4 or 5 years since I've been between 150 and 160.
And then it was just, and you got there pretty quick. I remember.
Yeah,
I
all things
watched the
considered.
numbers grow.
Yeah, all things compared to what I saw from other people, and yeah, I always remember that because it was like this whole kind of. It was fun. I wish you could do it again. You know, that kind of waterfall effect or cascading. You know, because what happened was you put out a video where you have no subs, right? You just have a channel, no subs. Put out a video and it gets 10 views, 1 sub. You know, and you're like, oh. Then you put out the second one, and all of a sudden it's 35 views, 4 subs. You're like, wow, this is fun. 60 views, 11 subs. And it was, I remember my wife and I just like shocked, like 100 people have seen that video. 100 people. We're all stoked. But anyway, what is this? How long have we known the Earth?
Earth is round.
So anyway, going back to what I was saying earlier real quick before we get this, is it baffles me that these people are so confident of something they've been told. Nobody's seen the Earth as a ball. Nobody's seen the sun and how far away it is or how fast we're going. And all the things that we've been told that nobody know, like they'll yell at you that they know the age of the Earth. They don't have a clue where it comes from. They just trust other men who told them that they can figure that out. They think, well, we know the dinosaurs are that old because we can date their bones. It's like, yeah, we can. Whatever you say, guys. So it's like we've been led so far off of what truth and reality is that I can see why many have a hard time getting back. And what they've also done, this is just another way I think they've done it, is they know people are lazy. I think I remember telling you guys, but I was told a long time ago, you want to make money, Jeran, you need to create things or invent things that make people more lazy. I didn't really think anything of it at the time. This is years ago. But then ever since then, thinking about bottled water, thinking about DoorDash, thinking about Postmates, and everything that we've been, that's come about it's so true. It's what people want. It's why diet programs sell. Everything is about people want the cheater way. They want it the quick way. They want it the lazy way, right? That's why they sell those things. You put this electric belt around your waist and you'll get abs. Yeah, right. But you have people that are going to do that. So to me, it's like this is what they've done is by giving people jobs. They have to work to make money to live, to eat, and everything. And then you have a very limited time off. So most people want in that time off to be left alone, to relax, to not have to. So then if you tell everybody a bunch of lies, even if people like me or you come around telling them you've been lied to about everything, the person immediately thinks, here's my options. 1, now I've got to go and research all the things that I've learned in the past because they're all maybe wrong. Or 2, I just stick with what I already know. It's what the general population believes. I'll never be called stupid. And it's just easier. And I can still spend my time off work relaxing. And that's what I think ultimately is going on here. because otherwise, if it was like easy to research or, it's hard for people. They don't want to have to do that. And that's why they like some of these channels that really glorify themselves and talk about they're the only ones and the truth comes from them. And in fact, 100%, because it allows them to be lazy. So the people who watch RV Truth, they don't go and then research the stuff RV talks about. They hear RV, say 100% guaranteed, Alex Stein's mom didn't die, Rob Skiba is going to jump out of a bush in a day or two and surprise us all. I'm sure he probably doesn't, I didn't even think about it, he probably doesn't think Bob died. I mean, that's how crazy this guy is. So, but his audience believes him. Why? Because he lets them be lazy, right? Me, what do? I tell you guys, research, do your own research. Well, I'm giving you homework assignments, so no wonder people don't watch me. It's complete opposite of than me saying, believe me, trust me, I know. You don't need to go look into it. I want you to look into it, every bit of it. Did you find out anything about your liked videos?
Yeah, it didn't have any kind of search in there. No.
What is this? James May, witness curvature of the Earth. Who's James May? It's funny is this can't even be true because I've got Bill Engvall, I think his last name is, saying that when he was on the what was the plane that went the highest? The B-15? B-71? I don't remember which one it was. But whatever that plane was, I thought it was B-71 or something. Anyway, he said he didn't see the curvature of the Earth from there, and that's like way higher. Is this the one that he has the window behind him that's curved?
Yeah, I think so.
I can't remember this one. That's not.
So that is now almost as far. This is madness. Is there anybody else up here? Presumably not. So I think it's fair to say the only people higher than us at the moment are the people in the International Space Station. Fantastic.
I mean, you can see this is a curved window.
You get bored of looking at that.
And people always ask me, what would it take for you to? And I was like, well, number one, if I went up there, windows can't be curved because I've seen what the curves do to things you look out. I mean, look at this guy's face. Let's go back to where. I just saw his face. And I have this video. I got to find it of an astronaut getting. No, not an astronaut. It was a reporter, and he was getting into an astronaut suit, and the camera was behind the suit as he was stepping into it, and you could see right through the. Well, I mean, you could see right there through his window. Look at how round his face is and how round that little thing is back in the visor. Why? Because the window, the glass on his helmet is curved. So this is what causes things to curve. But this guy gets into this astronaut, and from behind it, you could see that the entire room becomes a curve like a ball. So, sometimes I'm wondering, is it that easy to fool these guys? You just need to put them up at high enough and say, don't you see the curve? Yeah, well, we live on a ball. Go tell everybody. But again, who knows what will happen as we get closer with like these supposed trips. It's like so funny. Remember we were told about all these trips that would be to space? We're going to have space hotels and we're going to have space.
In the 70s, they were selling tickets.
Tickets.
What was it? American Airlines or
Pan
one
Am,
of them,
I think.
United or Pan Am.
Yeah. They're selling tickets.
Selling tickets already.
Right.
Yeah.
And now what's it amounted to is literally reverse bungee jumps. They throw you up as high as they can in the sky and let you float down. And like, they went to space. You saw the Earth. But again, if the windows are curved and what you're looking at, again, we know how your eyesight works, which is still people who have trouble with this one. You can only see the radius of a circle. That's just the way it works. You can't see further one direction than you can another. So if you were to ever look at a flat horizontal line in front of you that went off as far as it could into the left and right, number one, because of the way your eyes work, if you stared at the line in front of you to your left and right, those lines would be pulled back. And if you did it again and you take it right to left again, it's a horizontal line, you start turning, how would it stay level and flat? No, it's got to turn with you, and there, because you're a radius of a circle. So you would actually really kind of see curve, but not like a sphere curve, like a hula hoop curve, right? Think of a hula hoop, put it around your neck, put it out in front of your eyes, and then make it a little bit lower than your eyes, and you're going to see that curve of the hula hoop. Does that make the hula hoop a sphere? Which is essentially what they're saying. By seeing the curve there, that means it's a sphere. Well, how come I see that curve on a hula hoop? Former NASA astronaut breaks down India's moon landing. Oh boy, who's a former? Who's a former astronaut? What do they mean, former? This guy. The guy who told us that you can't see stars in space when you're on the day side or the night side of Earth. Thanks, Leroy Chow, but I'm pretty sure you'd be able to see them if you're on the night side of Earth. There's no sun, and the sky should be the most light you've ever seen. But no. See what you guys say.
The Magellanic Clouds. I mean, we've heard other astronauts talk about it.
Oh, they're all over the place with that question. I just want to hear him say something stupid. You can always find astronauts saying something stupid. That's easy.
Oh, because the water we can get there.
Well, the South Pole is drawing interest, the South Pole of the moon, because there are parts of the South Pole that never see the sun. And so the
Talk about a script, huh?
Perhaps there is water ice at or near the surface. In fact, certain measurements have indicated there's a lot of water ice in those regions. And so, as you mentioned briefly in your report, that water ice could be extracted and used to make rocket fuel. By separating the hydrogen and the oxygen. Of course, if you're going to establish a lunar base, that ice could be used for drinking water, and the oxygen could also be used for breathing, right? And so there are a lot of resources, there are minerals that are deposited there, we believe, and so for all those reasons, the South Pole is attractive.
Thanks, Leroy.
States plans to land humans on the moon in 2025.
Oh, keep changing that date.
How have our priorities
Wasn't it 2024?
Yeah.
They've already changed that.
Yeah, so the U.S. is hoping to land astronauts again. This would be the first landings, of course, since 1972, as you pointed out. These are different because the goals are different. The goal's not just to get there.
You're not going to go up there to golf?
You're not going to call the president?
To beat the Soviets to the surface of the moon with astronauts. Having won that this time, we're looking to sustainably go there.
Oh, now we're going to sustain.
Yeah, why when the U.S. did go to the moon, 6 times in 4 years, why did they always just go to the same area? Why didn't they land on the South Pole or the North Pole or the backside or...
Yeah, didn't they
why
do
was it
all
in
right
this one spot?
All in the face, I think all between.
Yeah, right near the center too.
Yeah, kind of near the
convenient.
tropics. Yeah, I don't know what they're
Earth
doing.
on the horizon or anything like that to worry about.
Yeah, I think one of the big points that people miss is that whether you realize it or not, we were all indoctrinated that people could live on spheres because of the moon landing. You didn't really realize it. It's never something that you would have cognizantly come up with. But just the fact that you were told people went to the moon, every night you look up at the moon certainly looks round, and then you're like, oh, people went to the round thing. So it helps you rationalize that you live on a round thing too. But if you were never told that, if you were born and somebody said, well, of course you can't go to the moon, look at it, we don't even know what it is, then the idea of living on a sphere would be much more of a shock to all of us, as it was when we were 3 and heard about it. Not one of us was like, makes sense, spinning, sphere, flying through space, yeah, I get it. No, but we all were shamed to the point where you just knew better than to ever bring it up or say you don't agree
question with it. Yeah.
You can't question that. So I don't, let me see if he said anything else here. Leroy Chow's always a chance at some
a certain or a longer length of time. So that would involve a small space station.
It doesn't make any sense. They say we went because we had to beat the Russians or whatever. So we go there, we plant our flag, and then we just left and never went back. We weren't worried that Russia would go there. Like, I thought that the point of the moon was like, that's almost like your high point, right? Like whoever is on the moon owns the world because you could launch.
Well, yeah, you'd have an awesome military base,
right?
That is always facing Earth,
right? And if anything ever happened to somebody, to your country, you'd still be there, and But it's like we went there, and then we're just like, okay, God, nobody's else going to go back.
Yeah, that happens all the time with humans. They go and find a place and just never go back to it.
Imagine if we went to Antarctica, discovered it, and then we were like trying to beat Russia there, and then we got there, and then we're just like, all right, we're leaving later, and just nobody ever went back. It's like Australia, Antarctica's there, but nobody cares to go there anymore. It just doesn't make sense.
Called a gateway that would orbit the moon, and it would be a staging area for astronauts to go down to the surface, and also a staging area to possibly go further into space one day to Mars. So we're looking to go explore the moon to stay this time, and that's really the big difference.
And explain that to me, Leroy. Would there ever be an instance in which you would set up shop on the actual moon itself as opposed to orbiting around it?
Yes, so you would go down to the moon, you would have some kind of a habitat there. You wouldn't necessarily have it permanently crewed. That means that is to say there wouldn't necessarily always be.
He's got these things back on his little.
You would have some kind of a habitat there.
What does it say back here? One orbit Leroy Chow? One orbit. Isn't that the name of the one? Oh, one last orbit. I wonder if he wrote a book called One Orbit. I wonder why it would be called One Orbit. Okay, I don't know what that is.
You wouldn't necessarily have it permanently crewed. That means that is to say there wouldn't necessarily always be humans there, but it would be a research facility. It would be a facility where you could gather samples, things like that, to bring back to the Earth. And so, for the jumping off point of the moon, probably you would have your vehicle that would travel, farther into space, be in orbit around the moon, and use that gateway as a place where astronauts could transfer to that vehicle. So there are a lot of different things being looked at, but the main point is this time we're not just dashing out for a few missions to kind of show that we can do it. The idea is to actually get some more scientific data and use it for an operational training base and other things, to prepare to go to Mars.
I can't wait. Former NASA.
I can't wait either.
Yeah, that's the name of his book, which makes no sense. It's probably the worst named book I've ever heard. If you're an astronaut, you wouldn't be one orbit. You would have done trillions of orbits. One Orbit, the book by Leroy Chow, includes photographs from all 4 of his space flights, most of them taken by Dr. Chow himself. So let me see if I can find, just since we brought it up.
It says 202 orbits.
Yeah, see what I'm talking about? Dr.
It's not one orbit.
No, we go Leroy Chow. I can't remember who he's
being interviewed. Orbit of what, too? That's dumb. That could be one orbit of the moon around the Earth, or the Earth around the sun, or the ISS around the Earth, or our solar system around the Milky Way. Isn't that like millions of years?
Yeah, I'm trying to know. Oh, is this the one here?
Or no, 26,000. I don't know what it is. No, that's our...
technology and investment.
I don't think this is it. I think it kind of looks like it. I was trying to find the one of him saying there's no stars in space.
Investing in space technology and
I don't think this is it, though.
That can certainly be a very expensive call. Let's look at China now. How much are entrepreneurs and private investors?
No, I don't know if I'll be able to find it. It was an interview just like that, side by side, but I don't remember what video of mine it's in. Does anybody want to go through every video I've ever made and then chronicle what happens every 5 minutes for me? Thank you. Begin now.
Begin now.
Get them to me by tomorrow, please.
See if we can get Rose on that.
Yeah, I know. She'd be awesome. I think she's got enough work to do. Just seeing if we can see him for a second, because that's pretty funny, and this is why we have such a problem with these so-called astronauts. How can they... Is that it? 6 years ago? Kind of remind now. I think I can find my video on Odyssey. But I wanted to show the actual interview or the actual point, because this way nobody can say I cut it out or it's some sort of cherry picking. Clearly, he says you can't see stars on the daytime or nighttime side of Earth, which, again, makes no sense. And they bring these guys out for any event that happens in space. They all have to parade them out there, right? Neil, him, they get all these interviews. Here's this one. I mean, this one, he's still got his book behind there. Leroy Chow on the Chinese space station. Leroy Chow on this. It's like it's required of them or something. But I don't see the video I'm looking for anywhere. Alrighty. Buzz Aldrin, UFO sightings. No, I don't see it. All right. Well, could be this one. No, that's
NASA
recent.
is rolling out its new Mega Moon rocket, Artemis.
Mega Moon
the
rocket
action is scheduled to happen in
Oh,
really
boy.
just a few minutes, and of course, can catch it.
Terrain. India's moon mission comes days after a Russian spacecraft crashed into the moon. Joining us now from Houston, Texas, is retired
It's like they just do little
astronaut Leroy
nobody even
Chow.
it doesn't even really they call him. Like, do people realize nobody would even know who this guy is? So what must happen is that NASA puts out some sort of letter that says, hey, here's Leroy. He can be interviewed about India. And then all the news companies schedule with him, because it wouldn't be any other way. There's no way every news company just like, oh, we need an astronaut. It's call Leroy Chow. No way. Just wouldn't happen. So it's clearly that they're like it's set up as I don't know, it's set up as like
spokespersons.
Yeah, so they must get like a memo, right, or something? Like, here's your space people to talk to about India thing. Or, it's like all just concocted.
A list to choose from.
Yeah, even if there is a list, I don't even know. It just seems like now, because like usually we don't see him, but we've seen him. You can tell he's being interviewed by the same people all the time, at least the ones that are about.
Have
this
you
and
seen Neil deGrasse Tyson lately?
Yeah, he's all over.
like not talking about space. He's talking about social justice issues now.
Like what?
Trans athletes in women's sports.
Why he thinks that
He's all for it. He's like, in 100 years, they're going to look back and be like, well, duh, they actually split men and women at one time.
That's ridiculous.
No, Neil, I think in 100 years, they're going to be like, they tried to do that at one time.
I'm trying to remember. I heard somebody recently say something about like, we need to go to sports that are co-ed. I'm like, what? Like they're like basically like we got to give women a. I'm like, you don't. I want to see women in a football match against men.
No,
sorry. And
no, there's videos out there. Go ahead and watch. There's girls who have tried playing high school football and it doesn't
go well.
It doesn't end well.
The way the body works.
I mean, volleyball didn't end well. I mean, pick a sport.
Right.
And it's not going to end well.
No. And what's wrong with segregating? It just makes it more fair. Women against women, men against men. It just makes it fair. I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, up to the age of 12, okay, boys and girls can go, but once they go through puberty, there's a difference now.
For sure. And, and most women who have any kind of faculties of thinking agree with that. They don't try and like, no, we're all equal. No, you guys are better at some things, we're better at others. It's just the way it works. It's just life. Anyway, I wanted to find it. This is my one worst problem is if I mention something on a show, I'll spend an hour looking for it.
Yeah, I know, me too.
I can't stand if I mention it, then I hate to move away from it because I'm like, oh, that's the worst when you do that. So I'll just like keep searching, keep talking, but I don't know if I'm going to find it. I don't know. Anyway, I would be able to look at it if I could have something else to play for you. But he's just a spokesperson now. They all call him former astronaut, but they're all just spokespeople. We see the same thing from who's the other guy from Canada, Chris Hatfield. And then somebody played that, or what was it? I think it was in one of my chat groups where somebody dropped that memo about that one. Like, what's the story with, maybe it's just to make us believe it's real. You know the story out there that like one astronaut went crazy and drilled a hole in the ISS? Have you heard that before? There's like a story.
Is that what it was? I know they tried to blame it on a robot.
I don't know. I just heard it. I heard him talk about this one girl she was hooking up with some guy in the space station. And then they were going to end it, so she wanted to come back to the Earth, and so she drilled a hole so that they would have to come. I don't know. That's just a funny story. Obviously not true, but funny nonetheless. They might have scrubbed that interview from the internet. It was pretty. Can you fit in the ISS?
No, it came up in my search. I put in Leroy Charo, no stars, and in space popped up.
Let me see.
But when I clicked into it, I'm not seeing anything. Just some horrible ordeal supposedly he went through. Why you can't see stars in space, but I don't know if it's him.
Where is that? It's on the same search?
Yeah, it says bright side. But no, it doesn't show anybody talking.
A flash fire erupted during spacesuit testing in preparation for NASA's first space shuttle flight. The cause of the fire remains a mystery. But the high-pressure oxygen from the life support system on the extravehicular mobility unit vaporized an aluminum regulator within less than a second, and the intense fire burned through the spacesuit, spattering molten metal across the test room. The fabric in the suit, which was technically fireproof, partially stayed ignited until carbon dioxide fire extinguishers were sprayed across the room. The unexpected fire caused $2 million in hardware damage. Fortunately, the EMU was unmanned during the test. The EMU fire inspired a complete overhaul of the oxygen systems, while unrelated mishaps inspired modifications to the EMU ventilation. Quality control of the assembly...
I mean, hold on here. Time out. I've never seen this before. I've never even heard of that. But what he's just saying is that the suits didn't work in 1980. People were being burned. They had to rehaul. They had to redo. Didn't you go to the fucking moon? Didn't you go to the moon? Let's go to Rockfin. We already missed our spot here. Thank you for watching, but we're going to get a little bit more crazy. I'm going to start yelling. That's just insane to me. Like, how do people not see the issue here? What do you mean we should already have spacesuits in 1980? There shouldn't be a question. You shouldn't get to a point where like, oh shit, that causes a fire. Oh, that makes this happen. You should have already done all that testing.
Weren't we doing shuttle missions in the 80s where we were doing spacewalks and all? I mean, we had...
Well, they said this is right before. I mean, he said it was right before the first shuttle mission.
Oh, okay.
So who knows? I mean, I don't even know where he's getting that melted astronaut photo.
But yeah, we walked around on the moon
with spacesuits hooked up to battery packs, and I mean, even on the ISS now, aren't they, like all their stuff is like hooked up still? At least when they're outside. All right, let's head over there. I'm going to get the Rockfin link for you. Join us if you will. It is a free $99 to come over there. It's just free. Just free until the show ends, and then we'll change it over to premium. We got the link. We're going to go put it over here at the GLOBEBUSTERS. How many people we got? 379. Nice crowd. Thank you guys. Hello, how are you? Yeah, and it's like somebody said, if they drilled a hole, it would be catastrophic. Not according to them. They said they drilled a hole, and then NASA noticed that the pressure dropped a little bit.
A little bit, because you know it takes its time when it's out in space, right? Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense.
I mean, it would just destroy it.
Yeah,
just destroy it. I mean, look what happens to a submarine when it gets real way down. And they say the thing just like, it's like instant that water is inside.
All right, we're going to head over there. Thanks, guys. We're going to get a little bit more crazy, and we'll talk further on the first subject we talked about, and being careful who you follow the direction of, who you let dictate what you call science, what you call an experiment. I say do what you want. Have an open mind, and if you go down the wrong path, somebody at some point is going to kind of reel you back in. You don't need to be gatekept. Much love to you guys. See you soon. I'm trying to think if I have anything coming up or anything we need to tell you guys about. Thursday, I am having something at noon with Fight the Fat Shirt. And what do you have? Thursday night, we have
GLOBEBUSTERS Tech, 7 p.m. Eastern.
And I believe
I'm not sure what it's going to be on.
I think Austin's moving this week, so for sure I don't think he'll have any shows this week coming up. And then I've got that show Thursday. Friday will be the Journalism Show. Friday will be Speaker's Corner. So we will see you guys then. I think I have something else this week. I'm trying to think, though. What do I have Monday? Oh, I have a podcast I'm on Tuesday. Anyway, see you guys over there. Till then, peace. All right, we are done with the